Hi and welcome to Sports Talk with Billy Petty. This is the first show of Sports Talk. We're presented by Petty Sports, and big football games went on last night in college. And I'll just read off the scores from starting from Thursday. So we got Texas A&M beat Texas 24-17. In 21, Arizona lost to number 1 Oregon 48-29. Number 2 Auburn won by 1 point against Alabama 28-27. Boise State, I don't know if you watched the game, but the kicker of Boise State missed 2 field goals, one in the remaining seconds in the fourth quarter, and then one with time to win it in overtime. Therefore, the Nevada beat Boise State 34-31. Moving on, Colorado got beat by Nebraska, number 15, 45-17. And then moving on to Saturday's games, unfortunately, I am a Penn State fan, and Michigan State beat Penn State 28-22. So Michigan State, chances are they might get in a BCS bowl game. That's what they were playing for yesterday. TCU rolled over New Mexico 66-17. Arkansas came back and beat LSU 31-23. Stanford, number 6 Stanford, beat Oregon State 38-0. They finished with a record of 11-1. Wisconsin absolutely pummeled Northwestern 70-23. They finished with an 11-1 record, and chances are a top 5 spot in the BCS. Ohio State rolled over Michigan 37-7. They finished with 11-1. Oklahoma beats Oklahoma State at Oklahoma State 47-41. A little bit of a shocker there. Missouri beats Kansas 35-7. Number 16 Virginia Tech beats Virginia 37-7. South Carolina, number 18 South Carolina beats Clemson 29-7. Utah squeaks out a 17-16 win against BYU. Number 2 Florida State beats Florida, who's not even ranked, 7-5 this year. Disappointing year for them. 31-7. Maryland beats North Carolina State 38-31. Minnesota beats number 24 Iowa 27-24. And the last game was Mississippi State beat Mississippi 31-23 at Mississippi. And that's it for the college football games. And as we know, today is Sunday, and a lot of pro football games. But before I go over those, I'd like to go over the games that were played on Thanksgiving. You might say that they weren't very intriguing. Well, at least one of them. At least 2 of them were. The Patriots-Lions game that played early in the afternoon, the Patriots blew out the Lions 45-24. In that game, I had picked the Lions to win. I felt that, maybe they'd come and win after they lost all those games before. Well, the next game was the Saints at the Cowboys, and a close game. The Saints pulled away in the beginning, and the Cowboys came all the way back. They made it a close game, but the Saints won 30-27. And 8 o'clock game really wasn't a very intriguing game. The Jets won 26-10 against the Bengals. The Bengals not having a very good year, even when they bring T.O. in. I don't think that really made a difference, and their record reflects it. Now, if we look at the games today, all the 1 o'clock games, there are some very good games that are tough to pick, but I think I got them down. Okay. We'll start with my favorite team, the Steelers, play at the Bills today. They're 7-3. I think that's a no-brainer. The Steelers will go in Buffalo and win. Not a long road trip. I mean, they won last week against the Raiders. They're feeling confident, and they should easily go down and beat the Bills, who are a 2-8 team. The Packers and the Falcons. This is probably the best game of the day. This is a 1 o'clock game as well. Packers 7-3. They're 3-2 away, but the Falcons are 8-2 and 5-0 at home. If this game was at Lambeau Field, I would take the Packers. But since it is at the Georgia Dome, I'm going to have to go with the Falcons on that one. The Falcons are playing really good football. Arguably the best team in the NFL. Definitely, in my opinion, the best team in the NFC. And now this is a disappointing game. The Panthers at the Browns, both terrible teams, but the Browns have come together a little bit, and they're starting to show a little something, that they're improving a little bit, but the Panthers are absolutely going in the wrong direction. They're 1-9, 0-4 away, and Colt McCoy is really playing well for the Browns. So, I'm going to have to take the Browns in that one. And then this is a good game too. The Jaguars at the Giants. Jaguars, remember a couple weeks ago, the Hail Mary pass at the end of the game. Well, and remember the Giants lost to the Eagles. But the Giants actually played a good game against the Eagles after the Eagles blew out the Redskins the previous week. So this game is at the Meadowlands, so I'm going to have to go with the Giants in that game. That's a close game. Then you got the Vikings at the Redskins. The Vikings are completely ruined and terrible team. They fired Brad Childress last week. But I still think they can get it done with a new head coach. They'll come out just like Dallas did, and they'll play a good game. The Titans and the Texans are the next game. And the Texans have went on a little bit of a losing streak lately. Or have a losing record at home. And a losing record overall of 4-6. Titans, we know everything going on with Vince Young. And Jeff Fisher and everything. They have a third-string quarterback going today. And the Texans are at home, so I have to take the Texans. The Dolphins at the Raiders now. The Raiders lost Thursday night last week, if I recall, against the Bears. They had their third-string quarterback in, and they ran the ball a total of 10 times with their two great running backs that they have. The Raiders lost to the Steelers. I think they're going to come fired up and ready to play, and they're going to beat the Dolphins. The Chiefs and the Seahawks. The Chiefs, the biggest surprise in the NFL so far this year. And the Seahawks also a big surprise. I'm going to have to go with the Chiefs on this one. The Seahawks are up and down. They win one week and then they lose by 20 the next week. So I'm going to have to go with the Chiefs on that one. And they're a good running game. And then the Eagles and the Bears, a 4-15 game. This is a good game. The Eagles obviously have been playing very good with Michael Vick. And the Bears defense has also been really good. And they haven't been noticed as much as the Eagles have. But they're just as good. So, in that game, I'm going to have to go with the Bears with their defense to go ahead and stop Michael Vick in the high-powered Eagles offense. The Rams at the Broncos, a good game. The Rams 4-6, the Broncos 3-7. I take that back. It's not a very good game. The Rams are usually very good at home, but are 0-4 away, so they only have 2 losses at home. So the Broncos playing in the Mile High City, I think they have the home field advantage and they'll come out with a win there. The Buccaneers and the Ravens. This, on paper, it looks like a good game, but if you watch the games and you watch the Buccaneers and the Ravens, the Buccaneers, they both have a 7-3 record, but the Ravens are by far the much better team, and they'll come away with the win there. The Chargers and the Colts. This is also a very good game. This is Sunday Night Football, 8:20. So, Colts, I think we all saw what happened with the Patriots last week. Peyton Manning driving down. They could have kicked a field goal and tied the game and sent it in overtime, but they went for the win. Peyton Manning threw an interception, and the Patriots won. That was a game the Colts should have won. That game, I'm going to have to go with the Colts. Even though Phillip Rivers is probably the best quarterback in the league right now, he doesn't necessarily have all the pieces around him to get this done here. So I'm going to have to go with the Colts. Also, some injury updates here. The Arizona Cardinals. Clark Higgins is questionable. Go to the Atlanta Falcons. This is interesting. Roddy White with the knee injury is listed probable for today's game. Also, John Abraham is questionable after a groin injury. Did not practice Wednesday, and he's questionable for today's game. Baltimore Ravens Ed Reed is also questionable. He sat out Wednesday's workouts due to an illness and was limited at Thursday's practice, so he's questionable for today's game against the Buccaneers. Also, Buffalo Bills. Sean Merriman went to the Buffalo Bills, as we know, and he is out for today's game. He has Achilles injury, and so he'll be out for today's game. Go to the Panthers. Brian St. Pierre is probable for today's game. As we know, with the Panthers, the quarterback situation isn't very good. Their whole team isn't very good. Also for the Panthers, Jonathan Stewart is probable, and that's it for them. The Chicago Bears, nobody there. We look at the Cincinnati Bengals. They played already. The Cleveland Browns. Joshua Cribbs is questionable. He has a toe injury. Says he will play Sunday against the Carolina Panthers. So, we'll put him as questionable. Also, Jake Delhomme. Coach Eric Mangini has indicated that Delhomme would have the edge to start against his former team, the Panthers, Sunday if Colt McCoy can't play. So Colt McCoy is also questionable for today's game. Go down to the also the Detroit Lions. Matthew Stafford is out. Oh, yeah, he was out. So Green Bay Packers. Donald Driver is questionable, or no, he's probable with a quad injury. Listed probable against the Falcons. Also, their safety, Atari Rigby, is out for today's game with a hamstring injury. The Houston Texans, Owen Daniels, their tight end, is out for today with a hamstring injury. And Andre Johnson is probable for today's game. Their Texans' best receiver is questionable. Indianapolis Colts, Reggie Wayne is questionable for today's game. Gary Brackett is also questionable. A lot of big names here for the Colts. Joseph Adai is also questionable with his shoulder injury. And Mike Hart, other running back, is questionable with an ankle injury. The Jaguars, Mike Sims Walker, wide receiver, is questionable with an ankle injury. Maurice Jones-Drew, the Pro Bowl running back, is also questionable. Kansas City Chiefs, don't have anybody there. The Miami Dolphins, Brandon Marshall is out of the game for the Miami Dolphins. He has not been a huge impact this year either. I don't know why you pay so much money for a guy like that and doesn't even do anything. Chad Henne is also questionable for today with a knee injury. That's it for them. The Minnesota Vikings, Jerry Allen is probable with a neck injury. And Bernard Berrian is questionable as well. Brett Favre is probable. You know, all of his troubles and his injuries. Listed here as an ankle, foot, and shoulder injury. He was limited during Wednesday's practice according to the team's initial injury report. Sidney Rice is probable. We know he's been out most of the year, but he is probable with the hip injury. He practiced in a full practice Wednesday. And go to the Patriots. Fred Taylor is probable in the game. He had a toe injury. So is Tom Brady. Complaining of foot and shoulder injuries. And then also another injury on Tom Brady. It says he's questionable for today's game. Oh wait, that's the wrong date. I'm sorry. Saints getting the Giants. The Giants OC Hugh Manora is probable for today. He has a knee problem, but he is probable to play against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So the Jets, Brad Smith, their wide receiver, is probable